Here we are. Reasonable Doubt Podcast. Casual today.
Mr. Gorbachev.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Mr. Gorbachev.
Turn up this podcast.
I'm in this for the money and the pussy, and they're both falling off the trees.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 138 of the Reasonable Doubt Podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Eric C. Griff.
And Chicka J Money.
We're chilling today.
Damn, thank you for covering the voice crack at the end.
Yeah, no worries. I wasn't going to say anything. We're chilling today. We're having a chill time in the pod.
In the pod.
In the pod. In the pod. The podcast pod.
Shout out to the pod, man.
Yeah, shout out to the pod.
Yeah.
We're chilling. We're having a good time. It's fucking fall. It's getting chilly. I love it.
I do love this
It's
time
October.
of year.
Halloween's coming up.
Can I start this off with something fucking insane that
Hit
I
me with
read?
it, Holmes.
Okay. I was reading a thing. I thought it was like Instagram clickbait bullshit. Mm-hmm. And so I went on a deep dive on this. It is not.
Okay.
So let me read the exact line.
I want to hear it.
The Oregon Board of Education said last year, it has now been confirmed as of this year, they've changed, that students are no longer required to read and write proficiently to graduate.
Yeah.
What?
I've actually been reading this too.
You've read about this?
Not that specifically, but I read a paper that college and university students that are entering as of now don't have the attention span to finish a full novel.
Yeah, like...
And they've never been forced to in, like, high school or whatever.
So, yeah, because COVID just fucked these kids up.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, like, an 8-year gap of people
Dude,
that are just
this is the
cooked.
perfect time to go back, for me to go to university. Like,
Yeah, because everyone else is dumb.
Yeah, because I'm
You'll
going to
be,
go
like,
and be
top
like...
of your class?
Yeah, I'll be top of my class and be like, you read the whole book?
You can read, like, a 250-page book.
Yeah, and they're like, what? I stopped.
How do you do that when you have a phone with Instagram right there? Yeah, it's like it's going to be a thing.
Dude, I was shocked at that. I'm like, you don't need reading and writing proficiency? I feel like that when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Kids who got 50s and like 51s, like the only requirement was that you need to read and write proficiently.
Exactly.
And they'll push you through as long as you can read and write.
Because I think if you hold people up to the old standards right now, a bunch of people would fail.
But maybe they have to fail.
I think that fucks up the whole system.
It does.
Because like if you've got a bunch of 10th graders that can't go to grade 11 and they got to stick back in grade 10, I'm losing the light.
You doing, huh?
Losing the light.
Fucking quit fucking around over there.
It's a fucking rave. If there's a bunch of like 10th graders who can't go to grade 11, they got to stay in grade 10.
Yeah.
You still have a bunch of 9th graders coming to grade 10, then you're fucked. Right?
Yeah, like
and there's like way too many kids in that grade. So I think instead of doing the work and fixing it, they're just like, fuck it, pass them.
Yeah, just push them through. But then what? They're going to go to university. Like, this is where, okay, for a while I was like, I don't want to make a judgment with it. I don't want to say this point. I've really been on this thing. Fuck, man, my ADD brain.
Come on, we can get there.
I've really...
Let's go.
Preface. I've really been on this thing lately of, like, ethically trying to explain the full point because I think sound bites of information are, like, fucking destroying society.
They make the podcast go crazy, though.
They do. But I mean, like, if you say something, you need to provide the full context. Like, an example, my aunt and I were talking, and she made a thing there where she was like, oh, I was listening to this, whatever, some doctor. And I was like, I've seen this. That was, like, effigy, which is, effigy's when, like, when your body's producing new cells to replace dead cells and ridding itself of dead cells. Oh, it only happens after the 3rd day of a fast. And I was like, no, effigy happens 100% of the time. She's like, that's not what this doctor said. And I was like, yeah, but anyone who took grade 10 biology
so if
knows,
you never fast, then like what?
Then what? You never produce new cells? That's retarded, right?
That is stupid.
And then I was like, no. It's obviously not that. Yeah, sorry, it's stupid. But I was like, it's obviously not that. It's the fact that you see what they consider to be optimal. You see a spike in the production of new cells after the 3rd day of a fast. Sure. And then I was like, you need to be clear though, like, in what? because your skin probably doesn't start to repair faster. It'll be things like liver tissue, kidney tissue.
Yeah, you're also not taking nutrients in.
Yeah, so I was like, you're not going to see like cellular repair in muscle belly. So you're going to see it in like organ and like specifically probably anything to do with digestion. So anyway, that was the point I made. And so I was like, you know what? I've really been conscious lately of trying to like give context to a point so that you don't just make a point and people don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and then you can easily be checked like shit like that.
Yes.
That's funny because if anyone took 30 seconds to think about
they
that,
would be like, that is objectively false.
Because
that's 100% false.
Some people
right?
have never fasted for 3 days.
Yeah.
I've never fasted for 3 days
Yeah,
straight.
and I didn't stop growing.
I'm not a baby.
Yeah.
I don't have the same cells as when I was born.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's
right?
stupid.
That's a stupid thing to think.
There's got to be... I really wish in the future there's some sort of framework set up where people can't just say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, you need to fucking explain yourself.
You can't just lie all the time.
Yeah.
Because obviously if this guy's a medical doctor, he knows that's not true.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I get that it's a soundbite and his deeper explanation as well. It does happen, but it's optimal after blah, 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 blah. And all these specifics. Okay, sure. I understand you have research to prove that. I get that. But the statement that effigy does not happen until the third day of a fast is blatantly fucking wrong.
It's like, oh my God, this is going to get me fired up. Do you remember when everyone was talking about litter boxes in schools?
Yes.
And people are like, they're putting litter boxes in schools. I'm like, great, give me one example.
Yeah.
With proof, ever.
Yeah, no, they talked about it. It was a discussion, and it wasn't everywhere. It happened here, in this city, in London, Ontario, and it happened in California.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know why we followed them on that one. And it happened, and then immediately janitorial staff were like, the fuck you will.
Yeah.
And
also,
they were like, you know what? You're right, that is insane. We won't do that.
Schools have no fucking money. Right? How much would it cost to provide fucking cat litter to everybody if they can't afford, like, books and shit?
Dude.
Also, it just never fucking happened, and people were like, yeah, it's happening. I heard it. Someone said it.
No.
And I was like, cool, give me, like, one...
Show me.
Show me one news article.
Yeah, no.
Show me one thing that says this is happening, and they're like...
No, it got discussed. It got discussed among the midst of the, like, people identifying as whatever they want to identify as, and people said, I'm identifying as cat parents... dumbass parents, like vegan parents who try to make vegan babies anyway. But they were like, hey, we want this to happen. And it was discussed briefly. And immediately janitorial staff were like, if you put a fucking litter box in somewhere, I'll strike. And we're not cleaning anything. We're not cleaning up human feces out of the litter box.
I don't think it never even came close.
To passing.
No. Ever.
No.
It was probably a motion that got brought up, because they all do.
Yeah, because everything, all sorts of shit gets brought up, and they have to talk about it. And they're like, okay, well, let's weigh the pros and cons. Oh, and it looks like a stupid idea. Tell your kid they're not a cat and they can't shit in the litter box.
Like, oh my fucking God. That was crazy. And then just... the people that they believed it in their heart too, that it was widespread.
Yeah, that everyone, there was litter boxes in schools.
Every school, and it's
God.
like, you obviously know that can't be true.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. You would hear about it from parents,
but
that
you
want
it to be true so that you can have this this enemy.
You think
for some reason you want to fight with like weird teenage kids. I don't know.
You think
that's
you
your enemy?
Hear,
I guess.
Like, you think you wouldn't hear from every person you know that has kids? Like, yo, they put a fucking litter box in my kid's school.
Because
everyone would be.
It's
talking
never their
about
kids. It's not happening at my kid's school. Any of my friends, it's not happening at their kids' schools. But a friend of a friend of a friend said it's happening. Who isn't real?
Yeah. No.
That
the only
person's
reason
not real.
I heard about it from my sister and from. A friend of mine's wife who's a teacher, and they both were like, yeah, we heard about this, and like they talked about it, but nothing came of it. It was just a discussion.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
you know,
they have discussions, especially
how many times
the times are fucking weird. People are doing weird shit.
You know how many times a year they have to entertain the discussion of should we put fucking the 10 Commandments in every classroom, and they have to be like, No.
No,
Like, we can't.
we're still. You want that? Go to
Catholic school.
Yeah,
I know. Like, they have to do that every time a year.
Yeah, and they're like, "Are we sure?"
Yeah.
When I heard, they were like, "Oh, did you hear?" Mm-hmm. Like, I love some of the rednecks that are like,
if your news is coming from Rebel News, it's not real.
it's not real.
Stop listening to it.
Druthers.
Fucking druthers. I hate druthers. I throw it out every time it's in my apartment.
Dude, and you know what I hate about druthers? One time I saw a druthers thing come up, and I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. They, like, druthers cited a CBC article.
Yeah.
And just, like, copy and pasted a CBC article. And so I was like, oh, like, I saw this thing. Like, I saw a druthers. I think I saw it coming into your place because they're always downstairs.
Because there's someone in this building who orders them.
So I was waiting for the elevator, and I'm like, oh, look, there's an actual CBC article. So I'm talking to someone, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I saw, like, on a druthers paper sitting on this desk that, like, there was an actual news article and, like, said what it was, and they were like, yo, so you fucking read druthers? I'm like, no, that's not what I said. I don't read druthers. And they're like, dude, that shit's not real. I'm like, yeah, this article was real because it's a CBC article. I looked it up. It's a legit article.
Yeah, they had extra space to fill.
Yeah, and they're like, this guy, I'm not going to name names, but this motherfucker went off on me for like 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm not crediting druthers. I'm saying they copied a CBC. Stop being so polarized. Fuck, man. Like, it was a real article. They put a real article out once. Yeah. One time.
Druthers is a fucking rag.
Oh, God.
There's a regular at my work who's got Druthers stickers all over his car.
What?
I know.
No.
I was like walking by and I was like, Druthers, what the fuck? That's that fucking crazy paper. And like
it's a crazy person paper.
It is. It's made by the Falun Gong.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do know this. Yeah. It's almost like, remember the National Enquirer back in the day? That's what it reminds me of. Just no, like I remember reading in like 2004.
Yeah.
On the front page of a National Enquirer's that Princess Diana was a reptilian.
Oh, and
they were talking about reptilians back then.
Yeah, they were like OGs in the reptilian movement.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy who still has a copy of, I forget the name of the fucking paper, like a neo-Nazi paper that got circulated in Toronto for a while.
That's
and he kept it because it's like scrubbed off the internet. You can't find shit from it.
Dude, okay, one thing I will say.
Yeah.
I hate...
Loves neo-Nazi magazines.
No, I hate that you can't find that shit, that it gets scrubbed and it's like, well, because it's bad misinformation, but it's like... But I still would like to see it.
I feel like they scrubbed it because someone probably ended up breaking some laws.
Yeah.
And they were like, shut it down. Like, if there's anything up here that's going to...
But it's like, why can't I access? Like, the history, I don't like the destruction of property that will attain historical value. And, like, you can take that however you want, but it's like, if something happens, if a paper goes out or a book was written, like... Yo, you know what is a good one? Only recently there's been a movement to bring this back, but I remember like 5-10 years ago, you couldn't find anything about The Last Bridge to Brooklyn, the book that's banned in the United States. It's banned in the United States. It's a fucked up book. You know the Alt J song Fits Pleasure?
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Okay.
It's a woman. She gets HIV. She knowingly spreads HIV to a bunch of people. She's like a sick fuck. And then... they find her because they somehow meet up and they find her and they go and kill her. They murder her by inserting a broomstick all the way up through her.
Whoa!
They kill her. So it's banned. It's banned. But nonetheless, it is a piece of art.
Yeah.
It's a piece of literature, and I don't think you should fucking bury it because he banned it. Like...
I'm sure you could find it somewhere.
For a while, you Google should search that, and nothing came up.
Really?
And it was like, man... It's still a legitimate book. It's still quite a good book. It's just fucked up. It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
But like...
I mean, you can still buy the Turner Diaries.
Can you?
Yeah, like the neo-Nazi fucking Bible where they start up the white ethno-state in California and shit.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, you can still buy the Turner Diaries.
There's a couple of... Salman Rushdie, remember him?
No.
He got banned from a bunch of Muslim countries, and he got pulled off the shelves in Canada for a while.
What did he write?
he literally was reporting on war in the Middle East. He was like a journalistic author, and was talking about war in the Middle East and like what they were doing on the other side to get perspective, like on both.
Yeah,
like he was writing about both like U.S. soldiers and about like what's happening on both sides because he was entrenched in this, and then got banned from like Afghanistan or whatever, and fucking. He's called he's Islamophobic and all this, and I was like, no, he's not. He's just literally journaling what he sees.
Yeah,
it's a journal. You know, you fucking can't be upset about this, like, because you don't like his views. Just fucking don't do that.
Does the government have the power to make books illegal,
Yep.
or is it like private things, like libraries won't carry them?
No, they ban them. Countries can ban them from
I didn't know that
production and
countries
sale.
could ban that.
Yeah, the government can ban them from production and sale.
Okay.
Last Bridge to Brooklyn is banned in the United States.
Really?
Yes, it's banned.
See, every time they
it's
ban
illegal. It's illegal.
Every time they ban a book, it just makes the most extreme type of people want to buy it anyways.
Yeah.
The average reader isn't going to buy a book about an AIDS patient getting a broom up her ass.
Yeah.
But like like a crazy person who never would have wanted to read that book anyway, upon hearing that it's banned, will go to great lengths to get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Same like Mein Kampf.
Yeah, like
crazy people go out and get Mein Kampf.
Crazy people are going to get it anyways.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're fueling the us versus them thing if you ban it.
We've said this a million times on the podcast. It's an introduction of a false dichotomy. It's an intentional introduction.
They better not
of false
fucking ban
dichotomy.
this podcast. I bet they would.
I bet they would if they knew how great it was.
Yeah, if we're competing with CBC Radio 1, not a chance.
So the other thing I was going to say on the original point, the other piece of like prefacing before I comment on something.
Oh yeah, we're back to that.
Okay, so Jordan Peterson, I think when he makes statements about psychology that he's extremely educated in, I think he makes a lot of reasonable points because he's highly educated in this field. I think when he starts talking about anything else, he sounds like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Because it's like when he talks about psychology and like the psychology of people are like, can you believe this bigot? I'm like, he is literally the authority on this, especially in Canada. Like,
it's
he's highly
because
educated.
The trans thing happened, and he spoke out against it, so he became...
because he called it gender dysmorphia, which it technically is.
He lied about a bill that was being pushed.
Oh, okay.
That was... The bill added pronouns to our human rights thing. So if... It added it to harassment. Like if your boss repeatedly calls you him when you want
like
to be her,
misgendering and shit.
Purposely or whatever. That can be included as harassment. Same thing as like gender or race or anything like that. And he said that if you accidentally said someone's wrong pronouns, you'd go to jail.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "That's not the case, Jordan Peterson." And he's
like,
"You're calling me wrong because you're the woke left."
Yeah.
So he became this martyr figure for right-wing politics.
Yeah.
Right? Where everyone's like, well, what else does Jordan Peterson have to say? Turns out he's not that smart about anything else.
So this is my point, is like, do I think he's intelligent when it comes to psychology? Like, absolutely. He's a doctorate in psychology. He knows his shit. He's not an idiot. Like, he knows his shit. But when we're going to him for political advice and stuff, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Why are we asking him?
He's a U of T prof. Yeah. He's a U of T psychology professor. Why the fuck? We shouldn't be looking to him on like the fucking state of our economy in Canada. Like,
no.
He's an educated person, but he's not educated in this.
No.
Or people going to him for the fucking carnivore diet. I'm like, he's a psychologist.
He also got like wicked fucking addicted to opiates. I think.
No,
barbiturates,
some weird. It's not opiates. Weird. It's a weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he got like really addicted to these pain management drugs, and to get off of them, he just got put in a coma in Russia. You hear about that?
Oh, really?
They just put him in a coma for like 3 months.
What, to just take him off?
To fucking detox him.
Damn.
We were like, that is fucking
That's
crazy.
Brutal.
Also, him eating nothing but meat and just looking sicker and sicker and sicker.
Yeah, his daughter also looks like hell.
Yeah, I know.
And they're both carnivores.
I'm going to put the fucking carnivore diet on blast. It's retarded, and I'll say that word. Dude. It's so stupid. Eat your fucking vegetables, you idiots.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Every time I've seen someone be like, yeah, I'm going to start the carnivore diet. 3 months later, they look sick.
Here's what I'm going to say. I think that every diet that anyone two things. One, everyone from every school of thought about nutrition can agree on one thing. If you eat whole foods, minimally processed or unprocessed foods, you are healthier. You will be healthier probably than you are right now.
And a variety of foods.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, you eat like an omnivorous whole food diet that is minimally processed or non-processed, you'll be healthier than the vast majority of the Western world.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's just ground rule number 1.
Yeah.
Don't eat processed foods, drink water, don't consume alcohol and drugs. You're probably healthier than the vast majority of the Western world. Second of all, genetics, your specific genetics play an enormous fucking role on how your body processes any particular diet.
Well, that's why like people like the Inuits and stuff can just eat seal meat and be fine.
Yeah, the Inuits, I understand the argument for the carnivore diet. There's two things that piss me off. One, Inuits have like Inuit, Eskimo, whatever you want to be called. Because American Inuits call themselves Eskimo. So,
okay.
Inuits and Eskimos, their fucking genetics are vastly different than Brad, the white
Brad
dude
who lives
from
in
Utah.
Missouri.
Yeah, like fucking you have totally different genetics. They literally have spoon-shaped molars. Mm. They're different. They're fucking their dental forensics are different.
Yeah, because they grow up in like one of the least hospitable areas of the planet.
Yeah, and they survive, and they have really long life expectancies. So they're very healthy, and they don't get sick, and it's like, it's crazy. If you
ate nothing but seal meat for a week, you'd probably start losing teeth.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the same as them. I'll say that, yeah. So, like, that being said, part of the reason they're so healthy is they don't sit around and eat bacon and ribeyes. They're eating predominantly organ meat.
Yeah.
They eat predominantly organ meat, fat, and so organ meat, for everyone, offal, whatever you want to call it, is fucking incredibly full of nutrients in every way.
Yeah, like iron and shit.
Like every vitamin and nutrient known to man is inside of an animal because we process them. If you cut open a human, it's the insides. Your skin doesn't get all the nutrients you eat. Your fucking organs do.
Yeah.
So, like, these animals, it's a reason that a fucking, like, when whales kill a shark, an orca kills a shark, they take the liver first. Yeah. They're super nutrient dense. I understand that part of the argument. I get it. They are nutrient dense. They eat organ meat on the regular. They also gnaw, because they love it, they gnaw on fucking tendons and shit to get collagen. Mm-hmm. They gnaw on it and chew on fucking chunks of tendon and chunks of cartilage because it provides them with an excellent source of calcium and collagen. You fucking carnivore motherfuckers don't do that.
Just eating bowls of ground beef.
Yeah, you can't just eat ground beef and ribeyes and fucking bacon and be like, I'm a carnivore. Like, do you
my
eat
hair
organ
is
meat?
falling out.
Yeah. Do you eat organ meat? No, then shut the fuck up. You're not even trying to do the diet. No. So, like, you're just a poor representation of what might be a diet that functions. I don't know. Maybe, like, it obviously does with certain pools of genetics. The Inuits have been surviving for fucking thousands of years like that. They don't eat vegetables ever, you know?
Because there's no vegetables.
Because there's no fucking vegetables. So, like,
I feel like a lot
but they're also drinking fucking, like, gallbladder bile and, like, yeah, you don't know that? They take chunks of meat and they squirt gallbladder bile on it because it's high in all these different vitamins that they get. So their diet is vastly more nutrient dense than yours. Yep. They don't sit around pigging out on fucking bunless cheeseburgers. Like,
yeah, I'm on a carnivore diet. Cheese is fine.
Yeah, like, it's so fucking dumb. Because
I don't think these people are doing it as like I need to get healthy, or like this is good for my body. They do it because meat is like manly. I feel like a lot of them. I think maybe the dumbest 80% are like, this is gonna make me like a lion. There's a bunch of people that
definitely do it to be healthy, and like there's just so many holes in the argument. Inuits survive because their food is entirely wild. Yeah. They don't eat anything that's farmed or been introduced to antibiotics.
Diet. I'm eating nothing but hot dogs. Yeah, like chicken nuggets.
Like that's what it's like. It's like, just think for 2 minutes.
It's like, that's a litmus test for me. It's like, are you dumb?
Yeah.
Is like the second you're like, yeah, I'm a carnivore diet. I'm on month 3. And I can see through their skin a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, I feel great.
You're like, it's weird. Your liver looks like it's shutting down.
That's crazy. I'm seeing fat deposits in your eyes.
Yeah. Like
stop.
Shit like that. Yeah, because like you can't eat ultra-farmed, antibiotic-ridden meat in mass.
Mm-hmm.
And then be like, yeah, this is how I'm going to survive. The natives survived on buffalo. Yeah, like for like 8 months out of the year. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other shit they ate too.
They when it was summer and spring, they also ate all the fruiting vegetables and stuff that came up. And like again, they eat fuckloads of organ meat. Mm-hmm. Any country in the world where there's an indigenous population that lives on predominantly meat, and there are tons of them, they eat predominantly organ meat.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there hunting for organs.
Yeah, the other stuff is tasty add-ons.
It's tasty add-ons. You have meat that lasts for days, and it helps to give you sustenance between kills. That's all it is. Mm. The meals are brain, liver, kidney, spleen, lungs, heart.
Oh, there's no way I'd eat a lung.
I've eaten pig lung.
How is it?
You
don't have to lie. Some offal is genuinely really gross.
You know what's weird? Like, I hate kidney. Beef kidney. I'm not a fan.
Really? You don't like kidney?
Don't like kidney at all. I love liver. I don't like kidney.
I love liver. Liver's
the
great.
wife loves kidney.
Really?
Loves it.
I'm indifferent to kidney.
Really?
Yeah.
Lungs not too bad.
I haven't had lungs.
It's not too bad. Liver. I feel like if it's cooked properly. Heart, I like heart a lot.
I like heart.
Yeah, beef heart. Like I do teriyaki beef heart. I love that
beef heart's really good.
Yeah.
There's like zero fat. Well, yeah, there's literally zero fat.
Yeah. It's heart.
Yeah. You ever had like head cheese?
No, what's that?
It's where, I don't know how far they get in the butchering process, but I'm pretty sure the brain is still in there. But they take the head and they boil it, and everything that floats out rises to the top, and like cheese, they skim it and pack it and get the moisture out, and you eat that.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
How good?
It's really fucking good. Really? You just really don't want to think about it, because it's like eyes and brain and...
So you want to know something interesting?
Bits of connective tissue.
With like Inuits and a lot of natives.
Mm-hmm.
Caribou hunting and shit, when they
and they eat the eyes?
They cut the eye out, they eat the eye, and immediately behind the eye there's this really soft fat. Yeah. And they eat that fat. They scoop it out and eat it like right away fresh. They don't cook it or anything. Oh. And apparently it's delicious.
A lot of people don't realize, I mean, like, sure, that's gross. A lot of people don't realize how fucking bad animals smell when you're close to them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wild animals smell like shit all the time.
I remember the first time I came home.
They don't smell like your pets.
I remember the first time I came home after cleaning a deer.
Yeah.
And I came home. And my mom was like, you have a smell on you.
Yeah, it's piss.
And I was like, yeah, it's fucking like pheromones.
It's piss and blood.
Yeah, it is. And, well, and like deer get like a musk to them, right? Yeah. They smell
like I'm fucking deer maxing right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Dude, I should start wearing deer musk.
No, how long do you think of no shower do you think it is before we develop like a pheromonal musk?
And we wouldn't. Do you want to know why? Our diet's not clean enough.
What if it got real clean?
I think you would have to be clean for years.
Yeah?
I think you would have to eat spotlessly clean for years. Okay. No joke. Animals do just stink. Like penguins smell like shit. They smell like rotten fish.
Yeah, penguins smell like shit. Well, it's what they eat and their breath. Like, you ever see like a fucking moose exhale?
Yeah.
It's a fucking amount of air that you can't even comprehend when they breathe.
Like when I'm in the woods, I can smell a buck coming. That's no joke. If I'm sitting in the woods,
come on,
I'm dead serious. You can smell when they're near. 100%.
Because it smells like deer piss.
It smells like they have on their hind legs. There's a gland on their hind legs that they rub.
Okay.
And they rub it on stuff, and it smells like male deer. It smells
What's it smell like?
I can't. It smells like deer.
Yeah, that's just what it smells like.
Just smells like musk. It smells super like musty. And I'm telling you, I've been sitting in the woods before, and like we're going for a hike, and I get to a spot, and I'm like, "There's deer here. There's deer like right near." And sure enough, I'm never
like
wrong.
a native hunter. Like touching the ground.
Because you're walking around, you smell like dirt and trees and water, and you can smell all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you'll get like a waft of like deer pheromone.
Does it get you going?
Does the pheromones work on you? A little bit. It does get me going a little bit. I'm like, it's a little gay. No, not like that.
No, but it gets your heart going.
It gets me like, I'm like, oh fuck, where's my gun?
Do you feel like a tingle?
Yeah, like I want to kill it.
Damn.
Yeah, like a little bit of me wants to hunt.
Yeah, you're not beating the like hunters or psychos allegations.
I've never claimed to not be a psycho.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You make a good
Never
point.
made that claim.
I need to kill.
I need to kill.
Yeah. I need to rid the
world.
All
right, back to the fucking original thing. So now that I've given
half an hour later. We started with this. I just want to start with something.
Okay, so back to the original thing. We were saying that.
Take it from the. Remind me. I won't interrupt.
We were saying that the kids are going into university, and like the universities are just allowing this. It's dumb, right? I will say I've listened to Peterson talk about some stuff with in regards to like universities kind of being a joke. And like listening to his opinions on it, and I actually think he's on to something quite a bit.
That is a very valid thing to say as a university professor.
He's not. Is he still a prof at U of T?
No, he's not one right now.
I think he's still a prof. He's not a practicing psychologist.
Yeah.
He's still a prof at U of T.
Yes, he's not a practicing psychologist because they won't renew his.
It's because they're saying that his views don't allow him to practice clinical psychology, so they've suspended him from practicing, and until he has to go through rehabilitation. But the rehabilitation length is undefined. It's undefined who's doing it and what it entails. And he's like, this is
just got to hang out with like 6 non-binary 21-year-olds.
Yeah, that's literally what he's like. That's all it's going to be. Like, this is stupid.
I would pay so much money
to watch him do that.
To lock Jordan Peterson in a room for 30 days with 6 non-binary teens.
6, like hella motivated non-binary teens.
Hella motivated.
The like politically outspoken ones.
Yeah. The real fucking annoying ones.
Yeah, the loud ones on the social media.
I would be on their side, but I would love to watch it.
Yeah,
I would love to watch.
It'd be amazing.
He would lose his fucking mind.
I think he would get angry.
He would get angry, but if like there was no escape from that room, I think he wouldn't retain his faculties after like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I don't think he'd make that long.
Yeah. All right. So
sorry. This fucking point.
I was listening to some of the stuff he was saying, and I do think he's got a lot of valid points, talking about the fact that like university degrees have lost their edge. Mm-hmm. The quality of education isn't what it was. The cost is only growing. Mm-hmm. It's only becoming more and more unachievable for people. OSAP's covering less in Ontario specifically.
Yep.
And that, like, everyone and their grandmother has a fucking university degree now, so they're not really worth that much. So making them more inaccessible is actually intentionally encouraging a wealth divide. You're taking people who would have had a hard time getting a university degree, making it almost unattainable, and now you're like he was saying it, like you're sentencing them to death. You're sentencing them to this life of impoverishment because like they just can't achieve this education.
Yeah.
And I think that's a totally valid point.
Yeah. I think like the way that I think about it is I think how much money you have shouldn't determine what university you go to.
Yeah.
I think it should be entirely like merit based. Because I think it's correct that too many people go to university because we told everybody that like a high school diploma doesn't do it anymore. You need to have this. But when everyone has a university degree, like you're not really it's almost not an accomplishment, it's a requirement now.
Yeah, it is. It's very much a requirement. It's like post-secondary.
It's a requirement now. Whereas like I don't think it should be. I think for very certain fields, like you should absolutely have this. But like you can do HR and you can do sales.
Yeah, you don't need a university degree.
You don't need a bachelor's to do that.
No.
But because you're competing with everyone else who has a bachelor's, why would you get picked?
Yeah.
Right? Like going to school post-secondary is a good thing. Teaches you a lot.
It's good for you.
It's training for all these workplaces, and it doesn't even have to be workplace training. It's a good thing to be educated.
It's a good thing to grow your mind and expand your mind.
And it's structure.
Yeah.
And it's structure where you're on your own as an adult, and there's no one forcing you to go.
Yeah, I do think like the amount of people I talk to that are like, oh yeah, I have a university degree. Mm-hmm. And you like talk to someone and they're like, oh yeah, I went to university, I have a degree. And I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've talked to people and been like astounded.
It should be really hard to get
a degree.
It should be really hard to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they're charging so much money and it is a business is the reason it's not.
Yeah, you can take a student who excels and is, say, like a high 80s average, okay? Or like even 90 average. But if they don't have the money, they're not going to go to university. No. Like, they're going to go and start working because their family doesn't have money. And like if they can't get OSAP or don't have like, you know what? I'm sorry, world. This is sad, but there's a lot of people who leave fucking high school and don't have a home to stay at, so they have to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, are there exceptions to this? Obviously, yes. There's lots of people.
Yeah, it's like broad strokes.
Yeah, broad strokes. Like, there are lots of people who, yes, they work full-time jobs and they go to university and they take fucking 10 years off their life. Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's incredibly difficult. But there's a lot of these people who have the capacity to achieve something really, really great in their life, and they never do because they're just not born into circumstances where it's opportunistic for them. And then you have a bunch of people who are born into wealthy families or like upper middle class families who are very comfortable. Mm-hmm. And they're fucking idiots with 70s, high 70s maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and they pay and they get into university based on pay.
Yeah, those people go to college. That's what they should go to.
They should be going to college because it's like, well, you're academically, like, I'm not saying if you got 70s that you're a dumbass. I'm not saying that. I think even in the case of high school, you know how many fucking kids I knew that got 70s and they were actual dumbasses? And I was like, how do you have 70s? How do you have a higher mark than me? And it was like, oh, because your mom does your math homework? What the fuck is that, bro? You're a fucking moron. Like,
do you think you'd be able to do like grade 12 math right now?
100%.
You think so?
Yeah. I took math and physics in the Navy. My math and physics skills are like relatively fresh.
I took like university level like math and physics all through high school, and I think there's a bunch of stuff I've lost.
Oh, for sure, dude. When I went,
like a lot of physics calculations and stuff, I think I've never done them in 10 years now.
When I started schooling in the Navy, they sat us down, the whole class, and there are people in the class with university educations, and they're like, okay, like, it's like, do 10 plus 10 and write it out. And we're like, all right.
10 one guy in that class like, fuck.
No, so we're all doing it, and they're like, okay, now do multiplication. And we're like, all right. Write out long division.
Ooh.
When was the whole class was like, a group of what are supposed to be like the most academic trade in the Navy, and they're like, and the whole class was like, how the fuck do you do this? And everyone was like, what? One kid in our class was like, he was young, he was just in school, and he's like, oh, I kind of remember. We were all like, man, I don't know what the fuck. And our teacher laughed, and she's like, I'm just kidding. And we're like, really? She's like, yeah, we're gonna go through it. You need to know how to do it, and we're gonna refresh it. But like, we literally started there.
Yeah.
That's where the class started, and like built quickly, very quickly. But It was like, you need to refresh these skills because, like, they do help.
I have a distinct memory of, like, 6th grade or something like that, where we're learning how to do long division for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, the teacher puts it up on the board, and it's like 2 digits, and she, like, does it real quick. And she's like, that's how it goes. And then you just, as you get bigger, you move down the line. And then she gets to, like, a 5-digit number that we're long dividing or whatever. And she's like, and then you... like, I can see it in her face. She's like, huh.
Yeah.
And then there was like a remainder or whatever, and she's like, and then we got this left over, and that's...
Where does that go?
And I think that just goes there. Yeah. And we're all just like, okay.
You seem long division. Sure.
Yeah. I watched someone do long division like 3 weeks ago. Just like on a piece of scrap paper. They're like, oh, they need to figure.
Was it bartender?
No.
Because he's still like extremely proficient.
No, my boss's boss. The owner.
Really?
Yeah, he's just like, oh, fucking bop, 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 bop. It does, and I was like, what? What the fuck? I've got my calculator out. I had the answer 5 seconds ago, but that's fine.
That's crazy though. That he's still very sharp, eh?
Yeah.
Like, no, I mean with stuff like that. Yeah, I know. I love it. With stuff like that, I've noticed you talk to him like weird math shit. He's still on point.
Yeah,
which is like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, you're old. You're not that old. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, don't fire me.
Yeah, please don't fire me.
This is like...
We both need this job.
Yeah, this is actually like all I've got.
Yeah. And the sons, both who are watching.
Yeah, if they watch. I think they do.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
No shout-outs. We don't do shout-outs anymore. No, we don't.
Yeah,
I do. No shout-outs.
I like my job.
We don't do shout-outs anymore.
I like my job a lot.
We shout out Jesse Adkin like 12 episodes ago, and that's it.
Yeah, true.
We called it there.
No, you know who we should shout out?
Who?
P. Diddy. What are your thoughts?
Your boy.
Dude, I fucking have never liked
you're
P.
stressed,
Diddy.
Eh?
I've never liked
P. Have you talked to him since?
Shut the fuck up.
Have you gotten visitation?
I hate you.
Because, like, I don't know, you're my best friend. If you were in jail, I'd be worried. So are you worried about him? He invited you to all those parties.
Dude.
That birthday party he threw for you?
Shut the
fuck up. Slip and slide?
Why are you spreading this misinformation?
Yeah, apparently Christian's the only famous one on this podcast because Christian's slip and slide wet and wild birthday party at Diddy's mansion. I wasn't invited. A little hurt.
For the record,
but it sounded like a great time.
If we got invited to a Diddy party, we would have said yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known.
And this is what a lot of people... I was listening to Israel Adesanya today. You know him?
No.
UFC fighter?
No.
He was talking that he's like, man, he's like, maybe God is watching out for me because... he's like, every time he almost met Diddy, something would come up and he didn't meet him. He was like, damn, I still have never met Diddy. And he's like ultra famous, like world champ, UFC fighter. He's still never met him. And he says, like 5-6 weeks before that shit came out, 5-6 weeks before, he was doing a fight. And he goes in after the fight, goes in this club like the next day with his boys after this fight. And he's like, talks to the club owner. The club owner's like, oh man, P. Diddy was in here last night watching your fight. They had a big TV going, like they were watching your fight. He's like, oh, that's really cool. Looks in his DMs, P. Diddy messaged him on Instagram, was like, yo, that's real cool. I would love to do like an interview with you or something, blah, 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 blah. Can we do an interview together? Whatever. And he was like, oh yeah, like that'd be cool. Didn't know. And he goes, and I shit you not, like 5-6 weeks later, this shit happens. He's like, I never got invited to a party. But he's like, you would have said yes. Everyone would. Yeah. Like, oh, who's going? J-Lo, George Clooney, fucking Jay-Z. He's like, you would go.
Through crazy parties. I would go.
Yeah, he's
dive into a mountain of cocaine.
Yeah, and he's like, and all the celebrities are going, and like, you're famous in UFC world, but you're not like in with all the celebrities. Networking. You would want to know. You'd want to know people.
Yeah. I would have went, and I probably would have had an awful time.
Well, his Adesanya's point was like he's like 34-year-old single guy. He's like, man, you go in there, and then like Diddy's like, oh, yo, meet my friend, some girl who like
a prostitute.
Yeah, who looks 20, and she's talking to you. One thing leads to another. He's like, you fucking, and then you walk out, and He's like, you walk out, and then Diddy's like, oh, yeah, I got you on film. How was fucking that 16-year-old? And he's like, and then your life's over.
Yeah,
like,
true.
He's like, can you imagine?
You're going to do whatever I want you to.
Yeah, he's like, dude,
I feel like that's where a lot of it comes from.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of it. Same thing with Epstein. They get you in there, then they trap you, and then you're fucked.
Yeah. I don't know if the Epstein shit was like, haha, she's 20. I think it's like she's 16 and you're here to do this.
I think the Epstein thing...
Or like they don't even mention the name. They're just like, here's a girl.
Here's a girl, yeah. I think him, it was a little more obvious because he specifically was trafficking it. But Diddy had cameras everywhere.
He's getting hit with trafficking charges.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to see... I want to see the list. But have you heard that greasy fucking sleazeball lawyer is?
Which one?
Because he's going to sing. Do you know about this?
Oh, Diddy's gonna rat?
Diddy's gonna sing. He has to. He's gonna sing.
I mean, it definitely goes up higher than him.
Yeah, so Diddy's gonna sing. So here's what happened. He went around, the lawyer went around emailing and talking to all these A-list celebrities. He publicly announced this, and I was like, is this where our society's at? Publicly announcing all the celebrities implicated in this, and he said a lot of them have paid to keep their name out of this. And I'm like... Hold on.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. If you're implicated in this, man, I love Joe Rogan, but it could be Joe Rogan, and I would want to see him go down for this shit. I want to see people go down for this.
I want to see the Joe Rogan tape.
Joe Rogan didn't do that. Joe Rogan's an old school Italian man, and he's principled. He would not be a part of this. I'm going to call this right now. Joe Rogan wasn't a part of this. Joe Rogan had nothing.
That bald head.
No, Joe Rogan...
Covered in baby oil.
Joe Rogan's not into that shit, and I know he never went to a Diddy thing. Didn't like Diddy.
No?
Wasn't a big fan.
I really wish we could have done Reasonable Doubt Undercover at a Freak Off.
Dude, honestly.
Like, just an observer. Like, fucking... Like, we knew he was going to get hit with this.
Dude, I've been listening to 50 for years.
I've been listening to 50. It's just like his birthday every day.
Every day. He's like, oh! Dude, his Instagram post?
Yeah. Dude, he loves it.
Loving it.
He loves it.
Yeah, because, dude,
he's been saying this for years.
He's been saying this for years, and he let his career take a massive fucking hit. He
got shot over it.
Just on principle of fuck Diddy.
Yeah, he got shot over fuck Diddy.
Yeah.
Because I think there was like...
Remember him going off? Back when he got shot, he was like, this dude's a fucking... He was like, calling him the fag word. Right? and he's like saying this, and he's like calling him a pedo and shit. That was like 2001, dude.
Well, I forget what exactly it was, but there was some like mildly disrespectful thing that they did to each other or something like that. That started it, and then they were both type A's that were like bop, 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 and then Diddy tried to get him killed.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And failed. 7 bullets?
Yeah, 9.
9? Is it 9?
He got shot 9 times.
Yeah, 9 times.
Many men.
Many men with testimony. Many
Yeah. I saw an article today that a lot of people are still terrified of what Diddy can do from the cell.
Dude, a lot of people say... Well, people have been saying this for years. I remember Bert Kreischer saying in Two Bears episode that he met Diddy, and he met him in passing at in Vegas or something, and he was like, it was really not... Like, it was unnerving. Yeah. And Tom's like, oh, why? And he's like... There's very much the aura of like, I'll fucking kill you. Like, I don't
get away with it.
And get away with it. I don't give a fuck that you're famous. Like, I'll end your life right now.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay. Like, that's just a bar we're gonna set here. Like,
yeah, like there's some people that are just so above everything.
Like, they're too connected. Where he's like, I'll fucking have you killed and I'll be totally fine.
Yeah, thank God for the fucking racketeering act, eh?
Dude, thank
Jesus. Like, that's what most of his charges are. Is racketeering. Yeah.
Well, and it's going to go into pedophilia and stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
He's getting a bunch of...
On top of sexual assaults, murders.
It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, well, of course he's going to sing, but he's still doing time. Like, there's...
I hope.
There's no way Diddy disappears into witness protection. He's too high profile.
Also, he's going to go into prison and, like, what... Man, have you heard what some of these people do in these... Like, I was reading an article on this from... Might have been from the Globe.
And Mail?
Yeah. It might have been.
Okay.
talking about what happens to these like white collar criminals when they go and like serve a 2-year prison sentence. Mm-hmm. Dude,
they get turned inside out.
No, they have fucking cells with carpeting in them.
Oh, if you're like minimum security and shit?
Dude, fuck minimum security. They customize their cells for them to make them comfortable.
That rocks.
They have access to like internet and TV at all times. They're just confined to a room. That's all it is. And they get like more yard time. The guy did a whole article. I'll have to find it. I'll send it to you. Because it's fucked up. He takes pictures of it. And it's like, you're walking along, it's like prison cell, prison cell, prison cell. Full fucking hotel room. Like, double wide prison cell hotel room.
You like took over the neighbors?
Yeah, you're like, how the fuck did you accomplish that, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
you ever see those like cartel bosses that get jailed down in like Mexico or El Salvador? Their prisons.
Oh yeah, and they have like half servants. The prison to themselves. Yeah, like that's what it's like though. They get that was the one thing, because they claim that they have dietary specifications. They have personal chefs, all of them. Yeah. Any white collar guy in prison has a personal chef that makes all his meals. He doesn't eat prison food.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I remember in the States, where it was the official like U.S. policy is if they caught someone from a South American country like smuggling shit over, they would extradite them to that country and then they would serve the prison sentence. And then too much of that shit was happening. And then the States was like, fuck it, if we catch him, we're jailing him here. Yeah. In like Supermax, which is like borderline like torture, I think, against the Geneva Convention. Is
not a fun time.
Supermax is like no mattress. Like you sleep on a slab. You have like 2 inches of window and you're in your room for 23 hours a day. And then you go to yard for 1 hour by yourself.
Yeah, and then you're back in the room.
You like get zero interaction with anybody, and that's like life.
Yeah, like, they serve like 40 years.
Yeah. Like I think that's wrong.
I don't.
No?
No. Fuck them.
You might as well just kill him, because you're not fixing anything.
I agree with that statement, but I don't think Supermax is wrong. Why? Are you kidding me? You know what kind of people they put in there?
Yeah, I know.
Horrible human. Yeah. People who like seek to destroy society itself.
I do this. This is like, Wikipedia dives where you really like dive into shit. Yeah. I was looking at ADX Florence, which is like the huge Supermax facility in the middle of like Arizona.
Oh, okay.
It's like in the middle of the fucking desert. On top of being inescapable, if you get out, you're in the middle of the Arizona desert.
Yeah, you're gonna die before you find out.
Yeah, you'll die. And it's like notable inmates. And they've got the guys that bombed the World Trade Center in 93. Yeah. They're still fucking in there. Yeah. They've been in there for 31 years.
Yeah, good.
Like that. But there's also just one guy who was like a U.S. Navy officer who got caught leaking secrets to the Soviet Union. Like espionage. And I think the Soviet Union paid him like $60,000.
And he's in there.
And he's in there for 170 years.
You committed treason against your country.
It's treason of the highest. I know.
Yeah.
But it's just this fucking nerdy little Navy officer. Like, he's just fucking... Dude. He's in there with the Mujahideen.
Yeah. I will say... That's fucking crazy. I will say, like... In certain cases, like, I'm going to say this on the podcast, because I don't give a fuck. Because I don't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck, people. He's crazy.
Straight up.
He's nuts.
Terrorists who, like, bomb the World Trade Center and shit, I think giving them death, like a death sentence, is too easy. I want them to spend the rest of their life having the worst fucking day of their life every day. You know what I mean? Like
every day someone comes in and pisses on them.
Yeah, I hope that they wake up every single fucking day to the worst shit ever and are like, wow, I wish I hadn't tried to kill all those people. You know? I wish I hadn't done what I did, but I did what I did, sir. You know? Like, you fucking mooks. I don't fucking care what happens to those people. They are scum of the earth.
What if you accidentally commit terrorism?
Accidentally what if you fucking do? Blow up a World Trade Center?
Yeah, like, what if you take a wrong turn?
Nah.
You're like, oh, and then there's like a guy.
Boom. Kaboom.
There's a guy like filling his car with a jerry can.
Osama, what were you doing?
Boom. And like, what if you're implicated in that?
No. You can defend your innocence if you're actually innocent, but
I don't know how much lawyer time you get in this.
Probably not a lot.
Probably not a lot,
dude. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I actually think in some cases, because I do agree with you, like certain people, I'm just fucking kill that guy. Why are we feeding him, paying for him? But then there's other people where I'm like, yeah,
if you do terrorism,
let that motherfucker rot. Let him rot. Let him want to kill himself every day and not be able to. You know? Mm-hmm. Like those, when you're like, I hope you try to kill yourself every day and fail.
You can't.
You can't. You just can't kill yourself.
There's nothing to kill yourself with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except like bashing your head against the
and
wall.
You'd knock yourself out and they'd throw you in a padded room and you'd go insane. I hope that for you. Listen to me. Terrorists.
This is what we should do.
This is why I was in the military, because I believe this. I see me on the fucking screen.
You do. You're looking at yourself.
Yeah. Fucking, you think I'm fucking around? I would torture you for the rest of my life myself.
They should put him in the stocks.
The what? The stocks.
Like where you put your hands and your head through it and let people throw tomatoes at you.
And cock slap them.
Use his scrot as like a fucking speed bag.
Yeah, walk up, punch him in the balls from behind, walk up, slap him in the face with my cock, and be like, see you after work.
Here's Christian going to cock slap the terrorist again. Oh, bah!
Got pissed this morning. Sorry, sir. Yeah. I love it.
Sorry, there was a line at the terrorist.
You know what I don't understand is I've talked to people about this shit, and like, it concerns me. Young people, when you talk to them about it, sometimes they're like, well, you know, like, can you blame them? And I'm like,
for committing terrorism?
For an act of international terrorism, you're fucking right, I can blame them. Yeah. And they're like, well, they have a really bad life over there. Like, so do Africans, but they don't go blowing up other fucking countries, man. Like,
well, yeah, the Middle East thing, they always tried to frame it as they hated democracy and they hate our freedom. No, that's not the case. They hate the U.S. and they hate Israel.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
They don't hate that you can vote.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck what
They don't give a fuck. It was a retaliation for setting up the state of Israel, so they're attacking like a financial significant building.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Now, so this, all being said, like, I think I look at the fucking, no, I won't get into Palestine and Israel, because
you can read Osama bin Laden's letter to the U.S.
Can you?
Yeah, you can.
The Bin Ladens were friends with the U.S. for a long time.
Yeah, they're
for the record, there's still lots of Bin Ladens involved in global politics.
Yeah, they just don't like talking about the one relative.
Osama.
Yeah, like I think one of Osama's kids is doing something.
Is like a terrorist? You mean?
No. Like he's trying to be a politician. I think he's really putting some distance between him and his dad.
Yeah, his sister is a politician.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, but like for instance, okay, here's where I'll say like Iran's government, their current government, the leader of their current government has made multiple statements that the Western way of life is gluttonous and they hate us and he would like to see us all dead. Every man, woman, and child was specifically what he said. So like, if that dude ever came here and we put him in a supermax for the rest of his life, I'd rejoice.
You'd rejoice?
I'd be like, fuck you, dude. You want to kill
Yeah, get dunked on, motherfucker.
Get dunked on. You want to kill innocent people? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I'm not saying you can't be angry about shit that's happened, but you can't just go kill innocent people in retaliation. True. Two wrongs don't make a right.
That's true.
Don't.
The Bible said that.
Don't preach your fucking religious bullshit to me and then turn around and blatantly disregard it for your own favoritism. Like, get the fuck out of here.
We want to make it very clear after that the Reasonable Doubt podcast is an anti-terrorist podcast.
Yeah, we are an anti-terrorist podcast.
We are an anti-terrorist podcast.
And that includes the Israeli.
And my definition of terrorist is anyone I don't like.
Terrorizers.
Yeah, fucking babies crying in the supermarket. Terrorist.
Yeah, I straight up... I guess I will say, because I mentioned Israel. I think both sides of that border are doing a lot of wrong.
Mm-hmm. What border?
True. What fucking border?
Yeah, at this point.
But I think both Hamas is a terrorist organization. I also think, honestly, that the Israeli military is a terrorist organization. They've only been committing war crimes for God knows.
It's like their favorite thing.
They love committing war crimes.
They do it all the time.
They've been doing it for 80 years.
They're like the only country in the world that can like push unarmed prisoners off of rooftops and be like, and do what? Because we filmed the whole thing. Yeah. And do what? Stop us. You won't.
You won't. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so like both of them, I think you're shit. I think both of you killing innocent people can get fucked. I think protesting in support of innocent civilians in either Israel or Palestine, I think there's nothing wrong with that. But if I see a fucking Hamas flag in downtown London, yo, I'll shoot your ass.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I will. Yes, I will. Yeah, like, that's fucked up. That's a terrorist organization. Those people kill people. Long before the justice and righteousness, they were doing bad shit, man. Like, same with, like, supporting the Israeli military and, like, them kidnapping men, raping and torturing them. That's fucked up, dude. That's fucked up.
Christian says no.
Yeah, fucking
bad.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Stop.
What we should do is get everyone out of the Holy Land for like 2 days. Get them all out, leave it alone, and then just fucking glass it.
Just nuke it and be like, whoever wants it can have it.
Yeah, you can fucking. I don't think they'll want to have it.
It's flat.
Yeah, it's flat and it's radioactive and give you cancer.
Yeah, you want it? No,
then fine. Just distribute. Yeah. And we'll stop fighting over this fucking... Neither of you can have it because you both fucked up.
Because you both fucking killing innocent people.
If two of your kids were smacking the shit out of each other out of a cookie, neither of them get the cookie.
No one gets a cookie. That's what you do, right?
For more parenting advice,
come to the Reasonable
Day. 2 dudes with no kids.
Yeah.
If you want some fucking parenting advice, I love it. I love dropping parenting advice to people with kids just to see how far I can go before they're like, okay, shut the fuck up. Because like a lot of times they'll be like,
that's wrong.
You know? Like, Like, I said it the other day. Someone was talking about C-sections, and I was like, that's the way to go. It's super easy.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Is it? You just cut them out. It's an operation.
Or, like, you take a fat shit and then walk out and be like, whew, I know how pregnant women feel.
Only a pregnant woman who has birthed with an epidural knows how hard it is for a man with a cold.
Yeah. You don't know how hard it is. They know how hard it is for me to get out of bed when I'm still like pretty sleepy.
Oh my god!
And it's like the window's open and there's a cool breeze and the blanket's so warm.
And if you're like slightly hungover and you're comfortable, oh my god! Like,
yeah, like hungover but no headache.
No headache, just kind of hungover.
Like you could eat some greasy. You could eat a bagel.
Yeah.
And be like fine.
Yeah.
And you're under the covers and your blanket's really thick and warm, and it's chilly outside of it, so you're like snug right up.
Yeah.
That
must be as hard as childbirth.
I'd lose a finger to stay in that scenario sometimes if that was an option.
I don't think they would lose a finger.
No, they'll have kids again.
Yeah, exactly. They do it again, so it can't be that bad.
It can't be that bad. Like no one goes, I can't wait to get kicked in the nuts again after 2 years.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. How many women just get right on top of having another baby?
I find that so fucked up.
Yeah, they're sadists.
No, like I feel like the dudes that are like, you gave birth 2 weeks ago, like dude, I'm gonna start
fucking
let it heal, man.
That fucking vagina's destroyed.
Well,
no, but I mean, in that moment, it's fucked up for like a couple weeks. It's gotta be, and you're in there just fucking dumping clips.
Yeah.
Dumping clips in there, like you're.
Let's do that again.
You're like a fucking African child soldier, just unloading your AK rounds into there.
Like the Irish twins.
Oh,
it's like, man, give her a fucking break.
Let her rest.
Yeah, man.
Irish twins, is that inside the same year?
Yeah, it's two kids the same year.
Really? But they're like technically a year apart.
So the longest it can be between birth and conception is like 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. That's like fucking give her a minute, man.
Dude, I should try and aim.
Jerk up. No, don't.
Yeah, no, Irish twins is hilarious. Because one of them is going to be stupider than the other one.
Why's that?
Because it's gonna be too old to be where it is. It's gonna be technically dumber by age.
What are you talking about?
Nah, I'd have to explain this to you. Never mind.
I don't think I'm getting it.
The first one born is gonna be dumber.
Why?
Because they're both going to, like, go to school together. But this guy's been living for a while, and he, like, hasn't really learned anything. And they're going to learn together and go through all life together. But the one's, like, fucking a year older, basically. But he's just too stupid, you know?
I mean, the year between him and his brother, he's, like, 6 months old. Of course he's going to be dumb.
Yeah.
Babies are dumb.
Babies are idiots. Why
they can't fucking do anything. You know how many other species on the planet can give birth and their kids just like, bye.
Yeah.
Like fucking figuring it out.
Have fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Good job. You got this. Go to the water.
Go to the water. Bye-bye.
All right. We got to wrap it up.
You got places to be.
Real quick. We do not support war of any kind.
No.
Or murder of any kind. You shouldn't kill innocent people.
War. Huh. What is it good for?
No, I want... Please.
Absolutely nothing. Say it again! All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay reasonable.
Keep down.
We love you so much. Good night.
Reasonable Doubt Podcast. If you guys like funny, hilarious, goofy, goober, silly boys podcast, that is a good place to find yourself.
That was a good one.